Hello, this is Susan Ashley. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I would like to share with you some information that came to me this morning that I feel is going to ease your mind a little bit. It's a really hard subject to talk about because it's created a big divide in our communities. There are those that have been injected and those that haven't been injected. And those that haven't been have a deep fear of that particular thing, but also for those that they love around them that have had it. And so what we're seeing at the moment is health issues as a result of it. And we're seeing a lot of difficulties. So this is what came to me this morning because, like many of you, most of my family have chosen. I think it's all about choice. So for me, I choose to trust my body, to trust my own inner knowing, and to trust that when my time is right to leave this planet, I will, in whatever form that may be. So it's about trusting yourself, isn't it? And when we put trust in another person or a community such as a government or a religion or the other person would be your doctor, of course. You have to, when you put trust in someone else, you're basically handing over yourself to them. Now, sometimes we put trust in our financial advisor, we put trust in people that we believe are experts, and it can work out really, really well. I mean, I've definitely had to put trust in doctors in my past, and it's worked out really well for me. But at the same time, I took control of my own life and decided some things I was going to use that were medical and some things I was going to use that were alternative. And that worked for me. However, it was my choice. And what I noticed, because I work as a spiritual consultant and healer, that when I have people who have serious diseases, it's all about control. They feel like control is being taken from them. So when they go to someone like me and their whole family is up in arms because they're going to something alternative, what that family doesn't realize is the person who has the serious illness needs to feel they have an element of control. And perhaps going to someone like me gives them that. It gives them someone who will really listen to their gut feelings. It used to be that you would go to a doctor and the doctor would listen to you. The doctor would say, well, what do you feel, or how do you feel it is? What are you feeling in your body? And then that's how they make a diagnosis, by asking you questions. Today, they're actually telling you what's wrong with you, even if it's not. So there's a huge difference between someone who works with your intuition, someone that you trust, and someone who's just being responsible and telling you what to do. So you're acquiescing your empowerment to them, you're acquiescing your trust and your own inner knowing to this other person. And I feel that on one level, that's what a lot of this is about. It's about contacting yourself and knowing what you feel. I must say that there are some people in my life that I definitely thought would take this thing, didn't take it, because their inner knowing was so strong. They said to me, I can't do it. There's something inside me that just stops me from doing it. And I think that's brilliant because it's pushing it to the forefront. But I want to go on to the inspiration that I had this morning. And I see the body as sound and light. And I understand that at the moment, well, particularly over the last couple of years, really strongly, we have all been elevating our DNA, right? So there's a lot of people who are saying, activate your DNA, go to 12 strand, activate your brain. And I've been running a meditation group for over 2 years now that meet every weekend. It's easy to connect with. You just go to my website, lovelightandtruth.com, scroll down the first page and click on the link, Ignite the Light That's a Zoom link. I do it only over Zoom, and join with us. And what we're doing is we're expanding our brain, our heart, our electromagnetic energy. We're working on all sorts of different things using the art of meditation, but also the art of summoning in different energies. Understanding who you are is really, really important at the moment. And you are an electromagnetic thing, right? You are made up of all these little cells that respond to sound and light, electromagnetic, right? So because you respond, your cells respond to those different frequencies, wouldn't it be feasible to think that people respond to your frequency? So, you know, when you go somewhere, if you really like someone, often it's before they've even said a word. You just like the look of their face, you like the feel of the person, you feel comfortable around them. And then other people you don't feel so comfortable with. This is like being really finely tuned with your own inner knowing, right? So this is what I'm speaking to. Those cells within you resonate at different frequencies. Now, there was some research done a few years ago where they took a tuning fork, they struck it, and the tuning forks in the room started to emanate a sound, and they were not struck because the sound from this one particular tuning fork resonated far enough to trigger the other tuning forks. And you and I, we're like tuning forks of sound. So when we're around people who have, let's say, had the medical procedure, a lot of people feel sick, they feel unwell, they feel uncomfortable, you know, they're having responses to it. So what they're responding to is the frequency of that person. But what if those of us that haven't participated in the experiment are actually helping those that did in some way? What if we realized that our vibration, our frequency was so clear and fine-tuned because of the upgrade that we're going through with our DNA? Sound and light influences that. When we consciously tune into our body, we can do all sorts of things. I mean, really, if you look, you do a little bit of research, you'll see healing miracles from people who tuned into themselves, who prayed over their body, who meditated, went inside their body and changed that illness, changed that situation. What was it that made it change? It was the energy, and energy is sound and light. It was frequency. Frequency changed it, whether it's people praying for you or you praying for yourself in an act of meditation. So what if our frequency is affecting them? And what if we are the key, the pure people who have chosen not to do that? What if we are the key for those people to restore their health just by being around us? What if our tuning fork of life is resonating to them and keeping them healthy, keeping them safe in a lot of ways? I just wonder about this because I woke up with this morning with the realization, okay, sometimes when we do something, we don't really know why we're doing it at the time. We think, oh yeah, I get messages all the time, and then I follow it, and then the reason why I got the message comes to me as I'm actioning it, or sometimes at the end of the action, you know. That's for me being in tune with the Holy Spirit, if you like, being in tune with myself. So when I was inspired to start the meditation group, I had no idea the impact it was going to have on myself. I started it to help others to stay calm, to understand that they're not alone, because everybody was locked inside and everything. A little anchor for the day, but also to focus on the new world that we wanted. I saw it as a fabulous opportunity to be a counterforce to the fear, because everything needs to go into balance. And when there's a lot of fear, we also require a lot of joy, a lot of hope. Not hope, but love and mercy, comfort, things like this. So that's why I felt I was starting it. But I followed what guidance and my own inner knowing told me to do within the meditations, what techniques to use. I developed new techniques. I was given things by spirit. And I didn't realize at the time that what it was doing was opening my brain, my own brain and my own DNA. And so I can write with my left hand. I can draw with my left hand now, which I never could before. And obviously I tried because my dad was left-handed. So I just could never do it. And then I got this inspiration, like a little message saying, why don't you try writing with your left hand? I was like, oh, crap, And I did, and it flowed. And I was like, what? This is crazy. And then I got another message saying it's because you've been working on your brain. Every meditation you do. It's a technique that guidance gifted to me, and it's a gift for you. So you surely can participate in this. So what I'm realizing is that perhaps my resonance, just being, is that energy signature that those who've had their DNA altered and shifted, my signature just may return theirs to a higher frequency even. Like I understand that there are some people that really gave away self-responsibility, gave away their trust in themselves, gave away their power, they gave away their life. A lot already have. We're only starting to hear about it now. But that was their choice. Even if they may say now, well, I regret it. I feel it was the wrong thing for me to do. Even if that was the case, maybe the learning of take responsibility for yourself was all they needed to know. To leave this lifetime with balance, going to a higher frequency. To leave it with a sense of love for yourself. Because when we do have regret, we're not loving ourselves at that point. So perhaps that's what part of it is about. I can't speak for other people, I can only speak for myself. I'm wondering. I'm growing every day. And I really do feel that this is all part of this new earth, not the one world order or anything like that, but a new dawning, a new age. Not new age as in, the new age movement, because my personal opinion on that is not very high. I've never been involved in it, although because of my work people think I am, but I have never been involved in it. So that's what that's what I wanted to share with you today, that perhaps your resonance is actually helping the people around you that have chosen to not trust themselves, to not listen to themselves. Or maybe they did listen to themselves and that's all part of their journey. We don't know. We can have a judgment on them. But I know that most of the people around me that did it because of love. They did it because they wanted to continue working to support their families. They did it because they wanted to ensure that people around them were safe and healthy. So most of them did it for love. So there's no point in judging them. Those that didn't possibly did it for love of themselves, and some did it because of fear. But maybe if you think of it like this, maybe you didn't do it because, even though originally you thought it was from fear, because there's a fine line between intuition and fear. And sometimes we think our fear is our intuition and our intuition is our fear. So maybe their fear of doing it was their intuition speaking to them to love themselves more, to listen to themselves more. And perhaps we're communicating with each other every minute of the day through this, through being a tuning fork. Perhaps that's what we're listening to, our own resonance. And our resonance doesn't want to be altered because it's going through a change. And I believe that's why there are forces that wanted us to partake of that medical procedure, because they knew that we are going through a change and they needed to slow it down or stop it. So for those of you that have done it, have faith. Have faith in your body. Be around people that haven't and don't judge. Don't be around them to rescue you. That's the wrong energy, to connect with someone to be rescued, because that's the victim energy. But be around them because you love them. Because I know there are a lot of people who their families have fallen apart because of this, and yet they really love each other. They're not talking to each other. They're not seeing each other, because they're offended by each other's choices. What if love and that loving connection? Look, I remember before I had my son, I read a lot on spiritual midwifery and the power of touch, things like this for babies. And it was all research that had been done that said that if you don't touch a child, their brain doesn't grow. When they're really little, when they're first born. They need touch to develop. They need action to develop. It's important for children to be, how sometimes dads throw them up in the air and catch them and the mothers are screaming. But that's important for a baby because it creates a connection with their body, and it helps their brain to develop. So what if being around people that you love, people that you feel joy around, triggers you more instead of being in fear? And maybe all this fear that's being presented to us is part of the program to not allow us to go into our vibrational resonance that is love. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope it all makes sense, and be kind to yourselves and love yourselves. Bye for now. Lots of love.